Come on in, Nick, and have a seat, man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. All right, Nick, I'm gonna go over a couple things with you real quick, and then we'll chat about what we're doing here today. Okay.
Okay.
First off, I want to talk to you about confidentiality. Confidentiality. Anything that goes on in this office stays in this office. Any conversation that you and I have stays between you and I, and it stays that way regardless of the situation. The only situation that would be a reason where we would have to potentially break confidentiality is if you're contemplating suicide, planning on hurting somebody else, or somebody's hurting you, anything like that.
Okay.
Then we would actually have to kind of go a step farther. So, do you got any questions about that?
No, sir.
Cool. All right. I'm going to ask you a couple kind of silly questions, and then we'll get rock and rolling.
Okay.
Can you tell me the month and the year we're in right now?
The month and year is it's April 6th, 2018.
Cool. Who is the president?
President is Donald Trump.
All right. Awesome. Who am I? What's my name?
Your name's Brandon.
Perfect. And where are you at right now?
I'm at the mental health center.
Perfect. All right. The last time that you and I met, Nick, it was 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. You and I had talked about some of the frustrations and stuff that you were dealing with work, feeling, as you put it, if I can quote you, overworked and underpaid. You know, feeling a lot of those big tensions. If you got all these responsibilities that you've got to do, you have all these things, all these deadlines, and it was just kind of weighing on you. Am I right so far?
You're right. Yeah, that's correct.
Now, since we've had a little bit of time and we talked about those things last time, have any of those situations kind of gotten any better, gotten any worse, not changed at all? What do you think?
Well, some things have, seemed to get worse. Some things have seemed to get better. So it kind of balances out. So really not really any better, not any worse either.
Okay. Now, you say that it hasn't really gotten any better. Can you explain that to me a little bit?
Well, it just feels like, of course, I'm in EMT school, so the further I progress through that, the harder it's getting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not getting any better in that aspect because, it just seems like things keep weighing me down, because I've got more things I have to learn and more responsibilities with that. So.
Gotcha. Now, you are in EMT school, and you've got 2 other full-time jobs, right?
Well, I've got a full-time and 2 part-time jobs.
I'm going to make my notes while we're going.
That's fine.
Can you repeat that sentence?
I've got a full-time and 2 part-time jobs. I work for the fire department full-time. We do 24-hour shifts. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm a manager at AutoZone. And also I'm in the National Guard, so I have guard drill once a month.
Gotcha. Do your employers have a pretty good understanding of the other responsibilities that you have?
They do.
They do?
They do, yeah.
That's good.
Of course, the fire department, that's my main job, so really the only thing they have to work around is me being in the guard, my training schedule and stuff like that. But as far as AutoZone, they are good to work with as far as, allowing me to do my other requirements with EMT school and my job at Mile End and the guard. So that does help out some, it kind of relieves a little bit of a burden for me in that aspect where I don't feel like I have to, be there every day or, of the week or even every week. I get seems like I get a little break sometimes from that job.
But it is really nice that, as you said, your employers, they do have that understanding that you're kind of going from A to B to C to D, back to A to B to C,
right?
All those different times over. Now you mentioned being in EMT school. Of all of these different things, in being in EMT school right now, being a full-time student, because I totally understand the full-time student and the working idea. If you were able to kind of categorize those as being like the most important to the least important, do you have, or are they all kind of like on an equal playing field?
Well, as far as most important to least important, my job with the fire department and EMT school, they kind of go hand in hand because as a requirement to be a firefighter, I'm required to be an EMT.
Mhm.
So EMT school is very important because of my career as a firefighter.
Mhm.
You know, I want to keep my promotions and stuff going with the fire department. And in order to be able to do that, I have to be an EMT.
Gotcha. So they are kind of like a support system in a sense for you to complete EMT school.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's awesome. That's really good that they're kind of looking out for you in that same sense.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to kind of touch back on what we talked about last time we met. You had mentioned something along the lines of when you go from, because these jobs are just one after the other, right?
Pretty much.
You're pretty much going from one spot to
Mhm.
the next. That a lot of the frustrations and the tiredness and fatigue and anxieties or whatever, they tend to trickle over into those other jobs and tend to affect that job. Is that kind of going back to where you say it really hasn't changed? Is that something that you feel is still kind of still going along?
It does. Yeah, because well, when I'm working at AutoZone, you know, I've got school on my mind. You know, I'm thinking about my next exam or my next clinical that I have to work a shift in the ER or my skills that I have to get. You know, with my other jobs, I'm pretty much thinking of all my requirements and the stresses I have with school.
So school is a major focus for you right now.
Yes.
Good. When do you make times for you to just solely focus on the studying? Do you have an opportunity to do that? Because that might help, delineate some of that anxiety.
Yes and no. With the fire department, of course, I work 24-hour shifts. Sometimes, a lot of times during the afternoon, I get chances to study. Of course, I have class 3 nights a week, so that takes, some of my study time away. I do try to make time to study when I'm not in class. Those night times that I do have my 24-hour shifts, I try to study, but, it's one of those jobs you never know when you're getting a call. So in the middle of while I'm studying, I might have to drop everything I'm studying and then go on a call, whether it be fire related or medical related. I've got that to worry about, and then I have to come back and pick up studying.
So it's a constant balance.
So it's trying to figure out when my times are to study and when I can't study. So it's trying to figure out different times that I can do that.
Let's go back to the fire department. With being a full-time firefighter, they require you to have gone through EMT school.
Yes.
And they have the opportunity, they want you to pursue that. They're very supportive in that regard. On your rotations at the fire department, because I know some places do this, do they do like 12-hour or 24-hour rotations where you're actually at the fire station? And you're actually like bunk up there, I guess you could say?
What do you mean?
You stay overnight.
Okay, yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, I work 24-hour shifts. So the way my fire department works is I work 24 on and then 24 off.
Okay.
So, and then I work an 8-hour shift every Wednesday. So, and I do that on a 3-week rotation. And after my 3-week rotation, I get 5 days off.
Okay.
But 2 of those days I am in class with EMT school. So yes, I do. I work an average at the fire department about 56 hours a week.
Okay. That's a lot of time.
So yeah, that's just one job.
Because a lot of people typically think your normal work week is about 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
You're on 56. That's a significant bump more. So as far as like jobs and stuff, we're talking main career firefighter / EMT. It's more what the big overall picture for you is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something that comes to my mind with working those times now, I'm not a firefighter, so I don't really know. Are there instances where you're doing your 24-hour rotation, you're staying at the firehouse, that you do have some type of downtime?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of our times during the afternoon, you know, we do have downtime. Where we're done with our daily chores, you know, most of the time we'll wash the fire trucks during the day, take care of the bay, you know, sweep, mop, just our normal station maintenance, I guess you could say. But and during the afternoon, pretty much with every job or a lot of jobs where people will go home, say at 5 o'clock. We don't have set times like that, but a lot of times during the afternoon we will get to go home, or we will get to have downtime. You know, we don't get to go home, but we do get to have downtime where we're not doing anything. You know, it's pretty much like our personal time at the station.
That's awesome.
Until we get a call.
Okay.
You know.
But you're still kind of on guard, ready to go.
We have to always be on guard.
So you're kind of always tense, ready to rock and roll.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome, because one thing that comes to my mind, and something that I'd like to try today before our time runs out, we've got a few more minutes, is I'd like to discuss with you progressive muscle relaxation. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a very, very super simple exercise where you're targeting certain muscle areas in your body. You're tensing them up, relaxing them, tensing them and relaxing them. And it has been shown to kind of help relax those muscles that tend to stay pretty tight. And one thing that I've known personally, just being able to do it, is like if I have downtime between two different hectic schedules, or where I'm going to be just going and going and going, having this opportunity for me, it tends to kind of help. It releases that tension and stuff. So if you're okay with it, I'd like to try it the next couple minutes that we've got.
Yeah, sure. That'll be good.
Okay. Well, first things first, just get comfortable in the chair, however you want to do it.
Okay.
You just kind of, it may seem kind of silly, I'm sorry. But you just kind of rest your head back, you know, kind of put your arms out on the arm of the chair, you know, kind of close your eyes up, and just, we'll just focus on your hands today, okay?
Okay.
And before I kind of get you to do the whole therapeutic close your eyes and find your happy place, you know, just kind of, you're going to tighten your hands up. We're going to tighten them up real tight. We're going to, in your mind, just kind of count to 15 or whatever number feels comfortable. Very slowly, just relax them out. You think you can handle that?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, just kind of get yourself comfortable, sit back, and just give it a shot. And the biggest thing is you're just focusing on just your hands, just that one specific muscle group. Just kind of imagine yourself gripping into something really tight. You know, you're riding a horse or a bull or something. You're tight. You don't want to let loose. And then you kind of just slowly ease out of it. Very good. Now that horse is starting to buck again, so you kind of want to start tightening back up a little bit. Remember, you're just working your hands.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Just working your hands. You kind of want to just loosen it up again, because everything's kind of calmed down a little bit easier. Awesome. That little simple exercise, you can do that with any targeted muscle group in your body. If you want to do it with your toes, your calves, your butt, your stomach, your neck, I wouldn't say too tight on your teeth, because, you know, your jaw, because that could end up hurting your teeth and jaw. But, you know, you can kind of do that anywhere. And I suggest people to end up trying to do that in between those hectic situations.
Okay.
You think that might be something you can try?
Yeah, it'll definitely be something I'll try.
Awesome.
So I've just, you know, I've got a lot on me right now. So yeah, I think I could try that.
Okay.
See how well that would work.
Well, I mean, if you feel comfortable with it and you're willing to try it, you know, we'll just kind of say that'll be some homework we can work on next week. And I'd really like to kind of get your take on, if you feel things are kind of getting any, use this as an opportunity to kind of help alleviate some of that stress with EMT school, because that seems like that compounded with the whole on-call situation all the time seems to be pretty intense. So take those in, try them. We'll talk about them next week. We'll try a different muscle group if you want to try that, but experiment with it. Just kind of let me know, and we'll meet back up in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
All
right. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, Nick.
Thank you.
All right, I'll walk you out. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.